Greetings, everybody. David J. Coon with Qigong Awareness, author of Qigong for Beginners, Your Path to Greater Health and Vitality. You can find it on Amazon, you can find it on Lulu. Good book, in my opinion, because it comes from a lot of different teachers and perspectives and things that I learned along the way that allowed me to heal myself of a severe spinal disease, amongst a list of other things. I have since gone on over the last 30 years and I have paid it forward and I have put my life and my savings and my efforts and my energy behind sharing these types of practices around the world, along with my beautiful wife that I came in contact with back 20 years ago, roughly, and who is a doctor of Oriental medicine herself, an acupuncturist, an herbalist, and intuitive healer, etc., etc. So if you're not familiar with Tanya, the president of our company as well, you can check her out online and maybe come to a seminar and meet her. All right. So can Qigong heal? Part two. Absolutely. Can Qigong heal? I know this is going to be a hot topic, so I had to do a part two. Plus, this is vlog number 50. 50. Knocked out 50 vlogs here in the last, I don't know, few months in my spare time. Okay. Because I have a message and have to bring it to you. Okay. Over the years, I have highlighted certain things, uh, 1 year doing this, 1 year doing that, training for this many years with this master, training that many years with that master, spending this many years studying at the University of Colorado, spending this many years studying at the University of Boulder, CU Boulder. On and on the story goes. So many different things that I've done over the years. Some years, traveling the country and teaching seminars all around. The pandemic comes, creating everything online so that we have online programs. In the meantime, in my spare time, pulling in a back room somewhere and saying, all right, I'm going to film some Qigong exercises. Let's go to the park and film some Qigong exercises. Let's give this for free. Let's give this for $5. Let's give this for $50. Let's do a big seminar and rent a hotel room and charge people $500 and have people come in for the whole weekend and literally knock their socks off. Just blow their mind to the best of my ability. Okay. Uh, so can Qigong heal? Yes, it can. Read the testimonials, as I said in the last blog. Read the testimonials in the book. Read the testimonials that are on the website. They're all true. They're all real. They're not made up. They're real people. Some of the people still come to the programs. You might even see them at the program when you come. All right. So is this stuff possible? Absolutely, it is. Is there a science behind it? I believe there is. Okay. I grew up studying Western sciences, Western psychology, Western philosophy, and so on. But I also grew up studying Eastern philosophy, Eastern science, Eastern religions, and Eastern practices, and growing up over here with Catholicism in the West, and so on. So I have a relatively open mind, but I'm not just a pushover either. I think about things, I look at things, I evaluate things, I analyze things. I see this teaching that Jesus has. That's very interesting. That sounds very interesting. I see this teaching that Buddha has. It's very interesting. I think there's a similarity there. Oh, this is very interesting. In the Eastern philosophies and science, we talk about chi, we talk about energy. It's an energy, it's a universal life force. Over here in the West, some people go, oh, what a bunch of hocus pocus. That's a bunch of woo woo. But there I am reading my science book. It says the first law of thermodynamics. What is the first law of thermodynamics? Let me check that out. Energy cannot be created, nor can it be destroyed. It can only be changed from one form to another form. I go, wow, it sounds a lot like Qigong. Huh. Then I'm reading in my psychology book. It says, it starts talking about medicines and how they're doing these studies about whether this medication works or that medication works, whether it treats a disease or doesn't treat a disease. And they're looking and they're trying to decide, does it work? So they do a test, they do an experiment. So they take this group over here, this group takes the actual medicine. This group over here is a control group, they don't take anything, right? This group over here is a group where They're only being given sugar in a little pill, and they know that it might be the medication, maybe it is the medication, maybe it's not the medication. And so all these people take their little medicines or pseudo medicines. You know what's mind blowing? People get well when they take the sugar pill. And you know what's really mind blowing? When you look at the statistics of it, the statistics are often like this. This is a rough idea, but check it out for yourself. It ends up looking typically something like this. It will say, for example, that 42% of the people who took the sugar pill got better. 42%. Now that's like not 99%, so it's not a huge number, but guess what? The medication that people take, it never gets 99%. It gets like, might get 46%, might get 52%. Now, I am not against medicine or pharmaceuticals in any way, shape, or form. Yeah, those dudes make a lot of money and everything, but I'm not here to put that down. Some people are. I mean, if my grandmother or myself or somebody needs medication, these scientists figured out how to do it, they should get paid. We live in the West. I understand. I mean, if we didn't live in the West, maybe we'd give it all away for free. I don't know. But anyway, that is what it is. That's a subject for another time. But my main point is here, let's just look at the science. 56% of the people get better, or actually, let's do it this way, say 46%, because I've seen results like this. 46% of the people get better because they took the actual medicine. 43% of the people got better because they took a sugar pill. And then the rest of the people, that's like the gray area, right? So when I started studying in college, that blew my mind. I was like, why are we not studying how it is that somebody thinks that maybe they took the right medicine and then now they're taking this sugar pill and now they get better? Like, how's that working? Especially when sugar's not even good for you, right? That's a mind blow. So anyway, I started studying those kinds of things, and that was blowing my mind. And then I was looking into Eastern practices of, again, philosophy and meditation and so on. And for me personally, I always tried to leave the dogma side out of it. Like, in other words, like the dogma side of being like, there's only one way, there's only one religion, there's only one view, you know. Always having to wear the same clothes or do the same thing or chant the exact same mantra. That's never been me. I've done it within particular schools. I've tried certain mantras out and chanted them for long periods of time. I've experimented with those kinds of things, but I never see it as like there's one way. So I became this guy who has a toolbox of all of these different tools, and I downplay the dogma. That's the best way I can put that to you. And I'm bringing what I feel is some of the best of what I learned in Western science. I'm not saying I'm bringing the best of all of Western science, but I'm bringing the best of what I learned in Western science, the best of what I learned in Eastern science, the best of what I learned in psychology and Western philosophy, the best of what I learned in Eastern philosophy. I was my own experiment. And then for the last 30 years, I've had many other people that I've worked with that became quote unquote experiments. Not that I saw them that way, but that's how it became because I have so many people who have healed of so many things. So we take the Qigong practices and we look at it scientifically. For example, and again, I'm just going to give you a piece of this in today's vlog because we have an entire certification program on it. I have seminars that I teach. We have online courses that we offer for CEUs, or if you're just a regular everyday person, you can take the program and get a ton out of it too. Having said that, here's a little taste. For example, if I were to say to you that we have three dantians and that these are elixir fields, one is at the navel center, one is at the heart, and one is at this area called like the third eye. Okay. And we were to say they're called dantians, and they're similar to chakras, but technically speaking, they're different than chakras. They're related to the chakra centers, but the dantian is considered an elixir field, an energy field. You might go like, okay, what a bunch of woo woo. Maybe you wouldn't, but somebody else might, right? But in Western science, what do we know about the instrument that measures the brain? How does that work? How does this ECG, how does it work? What about the echocardiogram that measures what's going on in your heart? How does it work? Well, if you ask your doctor how it works, and they know a little bit about how it works and the science behind it, which hopefully they would, but maybe they don't want to talk about it with you, or maybe they do. But anyway, it's related to a field, an electromagnetic field being given off, an electrical field at least, being given off by the heart, a field being given off the brain. That's how these things are measured. So when we say that a doctor of Oriental medicine, for example, or somebody like myself, like a medical Qigong healer, when I go around somebody's head or I'm doing whatever I'm doing, somebody else might look and go, man, that's a bunch of weirdness, right? And I don't blame them. Honestly, when I look at myself sometimes, I'm like, wow, this is what I've become. And it's normal to me. I live a Star Wars life and it's normal to me. Um, but I digress. So, but I started to realize, hey, there's a parallel here. Eastern medicine and Eastern science is not that far off from what's going on with Western science. And we see now that acupuncture is becoming complementary medicine as of like 1996. People are starting to understand it a little bit better. The deep roots are still being lost along the way. Some people like myself and other folks are trying to keep the deeper teachings of Oriental medicine alive because even the reasoning behind why it is that they say, for example, acupuncture works. They might say, oh, it's very good for pain because it hits certain points and deadens the nerves or whatever the case may be. Anyway, there's a whole lot of other philosophy around it, and not just philosophy, but ancient science. And to give you an example of these electrical fields and so on, I had a doctor come see me, word of mouth, found out about me, asked me to treat him of some things that he was experiencing. And I said, I don't treat, I had to actually tell the doctor this. I said, I don't treat anybody of anything. But what I can do is help your body to heal itself and give your body the best chance possible to then fight against what you have going on because I'm not allowed to treat, only doctors are allowed to treat. So I don't do that. So we got clear on that. The other thing we got clear on is I'm not going to touch you. I'm not going to put my hand on you. I'm not going to touch your face. I'm not going to put a needle in you. None of it. I said my hands are literally going to be here. So I sat at his feet. I began doing what I was doing, and I spent about 45 minutes at his feet. I will tell you a little secret that the feet are one of the best places to um, absorb energy because they're used to absorbing energy from the ground. So it's one of the places that I can use to move in, so to speak, to the energy field of a person that I'm working with and charge their batteries. Okay, I'll say it like that simply. Maybe another time I'll tell you more about that. So I began working down there after about 45 minutes. He was with me for about an hour. After about 45 minutes, he had a series of experiences where his body was moving and wiggling and twitching and breath changing and had some different things going on. And when the session was over, he said he had had some deep sighs and kind of like releases and so on. I just say it like that simply. And when he was done, he says, I have no explanation for what just happened here. And he's sitting there a little bit dumbfounded. And I'm like, it's okay. You're all right. You'll have time to integrate it and see how it works and so on. And he goes, I'm sorry. I don't mean to be rude, but can I look at your table? Can I see, is there a heating pad on this table? So he looks at the table. There's no heating pad. He then wants to see if the table is actually plugged into the wall because he says, I felt electrical charge moving through my body, and that is just not possible. So he literally inspected the whole table, pulled the sheet off, I had like padding on the table, and so he pulled the padding off. He looked underneath, no electrical charge. So, uh, medical Qigong and healing yourself with some of these ancient scientific practices. And again, we're starting to merge, and I'm helping bridge the gap here. Merge some of these ancient sciences with things that we're learning in Western medicine today. And when you begin to have those understandings and you're armed with those understandings, you can go a long way to working with yourself and bringing some healing to your body. Okay. In the next vlog, I will discuss with you something that I've discussed before, and I will discuss again, and I discuss in my book, and I discuss in my certification training program. Well, we're going to talk about chi over here, chi, and over here, we're going to talk about hormones and how these two may actually, in many ways, be the same thing. Even though chi may have, because it's energy, it's more general, maybe perhaps hormones are an element of chi. And maybe within hormones, you have chi. Let's talk about it in the next vlog. I'll see you then. Thanks for tuning in.